Yes, I play Mercedes, and she's like the ritzy, rich, spoiled. She's a high maintenance woman, so she gives him his challenge and everything.
I have no worries myself, nor do I exude, exhibit, or possess within my living stratus any reason why someone should worry in my behalf.
I mean, not enough to get a restraining order. I mean,
but were you aggressive towards
I wasn't
No.
aggressive. I was just aggressive in
Powerfully
being
spoken.
blunt and
Basically.
demanding.
Lark Voorhies, man. She lit up our screens as Lisa Turtle on Saved by the Bell. She was every teenage boy's dream, with her stylish clothes, curly hair, and that $1 million smile. But behind all those cute outfits and the perfect sitcom world, there was a real person, struggling. Today, we're going to peel back the layers and reveal the truth behind Lark Voorhies' mental health battles and messy relationships.
I have no worries myself, nor do I exude, exhibit, or possess within my living stratus any reason why someone should worry in my behalf.
Let's start from the top. Lark, born March 25th, 1974, hit the scene as Lisa Turtle back in 1988 on Disney's Good Morning Miss Bliss, which later became Saved by the Bell. She stayed in character as the rich, sassy Lisa Turtle when NBC picked up the series and rebranded it as the classic we all know and love today. Lark played Lisa from '88 until the show's end in '93. And honestly, she was a huge part of why we loved it.
Yes, I play Mercedes, and she's like the ritzy, rich, spoiled. She's a high maintenance woman, so she gives him his challenge and everything.
But after Saved by the Bell ended, Lark started fading away from the Hollywood scene. She kept popping up in some spin-offs and made a few cameos in soap operas and sitcoms throughout the 90s. But she never quite got back to where she was. And let me tell y'all, the drama didn't just end with her career. Lark was engaged to Martin Lawrence in 1993. Yup, Martin Lawrence. But here's where it gets wild. Martin went on live TV on the Arsenio Hall show and announced he was engaged to another woman. Can you imagine finding out like that? Sis was left devastated, and her co-star from Saved by the Bell, Dustin Diamond, said that breakup left her deeply traumatized. Martin, you did her dirty for real, and we all saw it. By the time the 2000s hit, Lark's career was barely holding on. She had some roles in How High and Civil Brand, but after that, she pretty much vanished. Fast forward to 2012. Lark pops up again for an interview, and y'all, people were shocked. Her appearance and her behavior were, let's just say, different. Fans even wondered if she had lupus, but her rep quickly shut that down, blaming it on a bad makeup job. Let's be real though. There was more going on there than just makeup. In an interview with People magazine, Lark's mom, Trisha, shared that Lark had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. She also said that Lark's decline in her acting career played a big part in her mental health struggles.
Bring a dormant mental illness to the surface?
It can in someone who's predisposed and has a family history, but I think there was more in Lark's case, just in terms of the stressors that were to follow after and relationship stressors. So she had more stress on her in addition to the show that was happening in her personal life that I think altogether was weighing down on her.
Now, if y'all know anything about Hollywood, you know it's not easy. You go from being on top of the world to people not answering your calls, and it messes with your head. Her mama said Lark had been through a lot, and finding the right treatment was a struggle. Plus, Lark wasn't always cooperative with it. And you know what? It showed. Lark got married in 1996 to Miguel Colmoon, but they divorced in 2004. She described that whole process as one of the lowest points in her life. She even said it pushed her into a deep depression. And then, just when things seemed to be quieting down, she shocked everyone again by getting married to a guy named Jimmy Green in 2015. Y'all, Jimmy was a whole mess. He was wanted by cops in Arizona for some wild incident, and Lark's mom wasn't having it. She even took out a restraining order against him, saying he was throwing up gang signs and claiming to be part of the Bloods. Girl, the drama was too much.
Yeah, and she said that she's concerned that Jimmy's taking advantage of you.
No, he's not. selectively together for all the right reasons.
Lark tried to convince people she was fine, that she was still that sharp-witted, fashionable Lisa Turtle we all remembered. But things were clearly not okay. Her erratic interviews and strange public appearances kept people wondering what was really going on. There was even that time her ex-co-star Dustin Diamond reunited with her and said it felt like he was talking to two different people. He said she seemed totally fine at first, but as the night went on, something just flipped.
No, I have always been mentally healthy, 100% stable.
There have been some moments in the past, though, where your mom has said that, you've been off your medication and there may have been issues, and that's where she's concerned.
Oh, I had a sweep with textbook clinical depression, in remove of my first marriage.
She also started publishing these strange books, filled with weird, rambly sentences and way too many commas. Like, we're talking sentences that didn't even make sense, y'all. It was heartbreaking because it was clear she was struggling. And instead of the world trying to help, people just mocked her. One of the books had a title so confusing you couldn't even tell what it was about. True Light, a Superior. Take unto the premiere. Haloing of attenuation. Like, what does that even mean? It was sad to see her like that, especially for those of us who grew up watching her on TV. And don't even get me started on her relationship with Jimmy Green. They got married in Vegas after knowing each other for just a year, and then it all fell apart just as quickly. Her mom was not a fan of Jimmy, and honestly, neither were we. He got into it with her mom, there were restraining orders, and the whole thing just seemed toxic. Lark eventually filed for divorce.
I mean, not enough to get a restraining order. I mean,
but were you aggressive towards
I wasn't
No.
aggressive. I was just aggressive and
Powerfully spoken.
blunt and
Basically.
demanding.
And just when we thought it couldn't get worse, Jimmy started shopping around a sex tape. I mean, this man was doing the most to embarrass her, and it hurt to watch. Lark denied knowing anything about a sex tape, but by that point, the damage was already done. Around that time, Lark was also going on wild Instagram rants. She went off about Bill Cosby, Martin Lawrence, and even talked about Jimmy's personal hygiene. Let's just say she claimed he smelled like corn chips, y'all. But every time she went on these rants, she would come back later and say her account was hacked. It was just another sign that things were not okay. She kept disappearing from the spotlight, and she wasn't invited to any of the major Saved by the Bell reunions either. It was clear that people didn't know how to deal with what she was going through, and instead of supporting her, she got pushed aside. But Lark did come back to talk about her struggles on Dr. Oz in 2020. She was with her mom and her psychiatrist, and she admitted that she had been diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder.
Schizoaffective thought disorder. And that was a perfect example of what it does and how it behaves and what it creates around and about it.
Now, this is serious, y'all. Schizoaffective disorder is like a mix of schizophrenia and mood disorders, which means it's super hard to manage. She said that sometimes there were so many competing voices in her head that she couldn't even express herself properly. That's why her interviews always seemed a bit off. She was battling a lot behind the scenes, and it really hurt to hear her talk about how she wasn't included in this Saved by the Bell reboot. She said it felt like a big part of her life was just taken away from her, and honestly, she deserved better.
I have to admit, I did feel a bit slighted and hurt when I was not invited to be part of the Saved by the Bell reunion, as well as other cast members' events. Yet, of course, I also realized that having this puzzling disorder may have played a major part in that factual decision.
Lisa Turtle was an iconic character, and Lark Voorhies gave us so much joy and entertainment growing up. To see her sidelined like that was just plain wrong. The saddest part of all this is that Lark Voorhies was just like any of us, trying to live her life but dealing with struggles that became way too public. The media wasn't kind to her, and the people around her sometimes weren't either. But despite everything, Lark still tries to keep going. She said on Dr. Oz that she's hopeful for the future, and she's been focusing on things that bring her joy, like writing and painting. We can only hope she gets the love and support she deserves. So what can we learn from Lark's story? Mental health is no joke, y'all. It's real and it's tough, especially when the whole world is watching you fall apart. Lark was one of our favorites, And we still got love for her. She was brave to share her story, and we gotta remember to treat people with kindness, especially when they're clearly struggling. If y'all were a fan of Lark back in the day, or if you've got love for her now, drop a comment below. Let's show some support for the OG Lisa Turtle, and let her know that we still got her back. And if you haven't already, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future tea we're spilling. We got more celeb stories coming your way, and you know you don't want to miss out. Stay blessed, y'all, and let's keep it real out here.